Derek Davis from Babylon A.D., and you're watching Talking About Rock.
Okay, today's guest is a singer-songwriter, best known as the frontman for the hard rock band Babylon A.D. Here to chat with us about his current solo single, Running Man, let's welcome back Derek Davis. Derek, man, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, man, how you doing?
Oh, well, man, well, as long as this weather gets better outside, I'll be doing okay. A little crazy,
Really?
but I've been listening to your track the last couple days. Very cool. And you kind of described this Running Man as like a rock anthem at its core here. Very up tempo, very, fist pounding, very, very riff hooked tune. I really like it. Tell us about your thoughts about when you were putting this together here.
Well, I had this track and I presented it to the band before our last album, but everybody thought it was just a little bit, the left or right of Babylon AD because it was a little too funky. But for me, it fits right in my wheelhouse. So everybody, I thought it was a great song and everybody else thought it was a great track too, but we just decided that it wasn't really a Babylon AD song. You know what I mean? And it's really not, because it's more like my album that I did a few years ago, Revolutionary Soul, because it's got some funk and it's got some soulful type of things in there. So it's a little out of the realm of, like I said, like a Babylon AD, but it is still 100% me, and I did all the tracks and wrote everything and, did it myself.
Yeah, very cool. And you said your wheelhouse. Let's talk a little bit about your wheelhouse, a little bit about your history. So you've released a few solo albums.
Yeah.
So I think, let's see, I think the first one was 2012. You released Revolt on Apocalypse Records, which received, great reviews,
Yeah, that one did well. That was a hard rock, real hard rock in the vein of Babylon AD. Most of the songs probably could have been on Babylon AD album at the time, but we weren't really writing anything at the time as a band. So I put that out as my first solo album. And then I did the Revolutionary Soul album that we were just talking about a minute ago, which was more like a soul funk type of thing, And then I did a couple years ago, I did a blues album. I've always liked a certain style of blues, and I did a like a rock and blues album type of thing. So I'm always continuously just moving in the musical realm. You know what I mean? Trying to do different ideas or whatever I think sounds cool.
I was going to say, you must be constantly always writing and putting down ideas. I know that's what songwriters do. I mean, that's what I used to do. You come up with something, you don't know what it's going to fit into later. You just jot it down or record it maybe a little bit and you're like, oh, this lick might fit something later or something.
You hit it right on the head, man. That's exactly how I'm when I'm writing songs. I don't know exactly where they're going to go until they get about halfway done. And then it's like, oh, this sounds like a Babylon AD song, or this sounds like maybe it's just an acoustic song, or that maybe no one's even ever going to hear, but it's going to fit somewhere.
Yeah, it's always good, definitely, to keep those ideas on tap. And like you said, you never know when you're going to need them. Some folks, like they used to go in the studio with hardly anything, and do it. You can't do that nowadays. Obviously, you have to be very prepared on what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So I think next up we had for you was 2021. You released the single and video for "The Love of War."
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a funny thing. My best friend and his girlfriend were fighting all the time, and it was a very easy song to write because I had to just write about them.
Right.
And it was funny because after I wrote the song and I showed it to them, they looked at each other and then they looked at me and went, "Wow, you told our story," So that's like another thing I just had. When I'm writing, like I said, I never really know where it's going to go till it's about halfway finished. That definitely was not a Babylon AD song, but it was a great track, So I just I thought I should release it.
And then in 2022, you released a critical and kind of a controversial single and video, "What Is Up Is Down,"
What is up is down.
which
Yeah.
which gained a lot of attention and press on that one also.
Yeah. Yeah. I got some blowback on that. Um, it's kind of funny too, because uh, YouTube kind of put some kind of strike on it that I never understood. They sent me some kind of message saying that it was politically incorrect or something like that. I was like,
Really?
yeah, I was blown away, man. This was all when all the woke stuff was going on. Everybody was arguing on the internet about this and that, politics and shit. And I wrote a song kind of about what was going on in the world then. And yeah, I got a thing that was like a political strike. And I'm like, this is crazy. You mean you can't have no freedom of speech? What about my thoughts? And the funny thing is, that's exactly what the song was about.
Yeah.
People
Right.
taking away your speech to say what you want.
Yeah, I remember when that first kind of aired and kind of first started, there was a lot of pressure on different social media platforms and different streaming services
Yeah.
to watch that kind of thing. They were getting a lot of feedback because I think the issue was it was just flooded with both stuff so much from both sides. You know what I mean? And they're kind of like, this is not really what this should be used for. I think it goes kind of back to it was too much an influence on younger people. Now they have some safeguards in place for younger people, but obviously they turned it up way high back then,
Yeah.
to do that. And now most of that, I think most of that's been repealed at this point because you see a lot of that stuff now. And like I said, there's safeguards on certain social media platforms for teens and younger people and stuff like that because they were all going to get sued, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Read
But
that.
when you see them show up, with the president's commencement, nobody's getting sued. None of those people.
Yeah. Crazy.
But yeah, definitely. So yeah, you've done so much stuff. So let's talk a little bit about songwriting in general. And I talk about this a lot with some of my guests lately. Something I think is just lacking a lot in today's music. I don't know if you listen to a lot of current music, a lot of newer music, things like that. I think songwriting was such a skill and was so concentrated on at one point in the day. I really don't think that's kind of the case at this point.
What do you mean by that?
I don't think they put the majority of the music. I don't think they put a super lot of thought in it. I mean, a lot of the songs that are coming out. There's not like that story. There's not like that hook. They're just
Right.
kind of, what I mean. Like you were talking about the story, that you wrote, that you got inspired by your friends there. You saw a situation, you wrote the song around that situation, and it kind of expresses what's happening there. Or your other song where you were expressing, your political thoughts, stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and even the Running Man song is more my kind of thoughts on the whole idea of technology and the AI, and we're all running like our attention
Right.
for 8 seconds instead of a minute or whatever it is. We just,
Right, and that's what I'm used to, and I think that's what makes good songs with it. It tells stories. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I see that lacking a lot in the newer music, in the what we'll say more popular music, things like that. It just doesn't seem to be something that's as concentrated on as it was in the day.
yeah. Maybe because we're a little bit older, and now, the music that I don't really listen to anything new because I don't hear anything new that I like. You know what I mean? I mean, I gravitate to old school soul,
Yeah,
old funk
yeah,
stuff, or old rock 70s stuff for some reason, because there was a lot of storytelling, back then, like you said, and a lot of bands that were all different. Everybody wasn't just the same exact band. You can have Fleetwood Mac play with Aerosmith, and they could go over and play with Peter Frampton or whatever with Leonard Skinner. It just didn't matter,
right.
and nowadays everything is just so homogenized and stuck into like these little boxes, and nobody has gives it any time. You put out a new single, it might be out for like a week before everybody's like, let's get to the next one.
Right. There's a very short attention span on folks,
Exactly.
and there's
That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, and I think there's a lot of music coming out now, maybe more than there used to be. back in the day when this was all driven by album sales and things like that.
Mhm.
I see so much music coming out all the time. But another point I wanted to make is because we're talking about new music, and I think that's really hard for some bands. So if you're a classic band and you
Mhm.
come out with a song that isn't really your style, you know what I mean? To try something new. A lot of times people don't give that any room and any air
Yeah.
to check it out. They get so caught up in the style of the band or the original sound. It's like, oh, I want to hear your songs like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Sometimes they don't give any of these classic bands a chance to do that. And I like to see that. I like when the classic bands try that out. But the majority of the audiences, I think they're just like, I want to hear your original sound. I want to hear your original style.
Yeah, even Babylon A.D. gets pigeonholed like that. So when I'm writing, I have to be really conscious of the songs. I got to think back of the first two albums, and I got to make sure that when I'm writing a song or I'm co-writing a song with one of the band members, that it still has that Babylon A.D. sound, unless, like you said, you're going to get hit by fans and like, oh, what are you trying to do? You invent the wheel and be somebody else who you're not.
Yeah.
And so the lucky thing for me as being a songwriter is I have that avenue to go to a different place when I'm writing songs. I don't have to just stay Babylon AD and that's it the rest of my life. I just have to write songs that have big power chords and big choruses and melodies like this. I could jump out of my box being a solo artist. And, if I get flack or crap for it, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Because you're just expressing your art, like you said, and
Right.
you did some different styles here with the blues album, which was really cool, right?
Yeah.
And some people do that. I've seen people kind of really try different stuff. Steven Tyler tried country way back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
give it a shot.
Now
See what
that one
happens.
threw me.
Yeah,
That one
right.
threw
Right.
me. I was like, I don't think I'd ever try country.
Yeah, he was going way up, but country was really big at the time. So it's like, oh, everybody's jumping in that pool right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's funny because then it's kind of circling back. We've seen some of the country artists are like, oh, I want to be a rock and roller now. I want some of these rock people
Yeah.
singing with me, right?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to me how that changes, how that morphs. And you've been doing this quite a while. So I want to ask you if you had any advice for up and coming songwriters or bands or what to think about when they're doing this. Because you kind of went the gamut. You've seen it how it was in the 80s and you've seen how it is now changing. Is there anything, any advice you would offer them maybe?
Um, I would just say stay true to your craft and stay true to who you are, and try to if you're a songwriter and you're writing lyrics, especially try to read a lot, especially like older type of books and things like that, because you'll get knowledge in different type of vocabularies and things like that, and you won't get stuck in this, oh, she's so hot, baby girl, whatever it is, that people write about, that it sounds like they're in the fourth grade when they write lyrics. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I would say try to stay original, man. Stay away from AI. I mean, I am vehemently opposed to anybody that uses AI writing songs. I know so many people now that are musicians that are using that AI to write a song, and it just, man, it just
Yeah. I was going to bring that up actually. We've talked
it's just,
about this.
to me, it's just cheating, man. You're
Yeah.
just either you're a cheater or you don't have the talent.
Yeah. I mean, as far
Well,
as
if you
like
don't have the
creating
talent and you're a cheater, then you're just a fake.
Yeah.
Don't even try to tell me that you're a real musician, because you're not. You're just you're lazy. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I don't get it for doing it for songwriting, because the whole idea of a good song is to channel that energy and that emotion to the
Right.
audience, right? And then when you feel
Right.
that when they feel that, they bring that back to you, and that's the live experience. And you can't get that with an artificial generated.
No.
Not yet. Not
Yeah,
yet. Hopefully not ever. But
And it cracks me up because almost every single song that I hear, that like I said, I've got some musician friends of mine and some relatives that have been doing it lately, and every single song to me sounds just like the 14th song of a Bon Jovi album that maybe Daughtry sings or something, and they all sound so formulated, cheesy lyrics, Great production though. The production,
Right.
great, the drums are great, everything, and that's usually how you tell right off the bat. The production is too perfect,
Right.
you know, and it's just homogenized. I mean, whenever I just signed uh, a small deal type of thing with the Cleopatra to release some stuff, and they hit me up with they wanted to use my voice for AI, you know, so, and I was like, no, take that out of the contract. You're not going to use my voice, to sing another person's song or to just be a robot for somebody else. I'm just not going to do it, man. Maybe I'm too old school, and I think this new technology has just went too far. Because, for instance, quick story, Babylon AD has had three artists now come to our Spotify site, somehow get on there, say that they're Babylon AD. And we had to contact Spotify, go through this whole rigmarole thing to get
Yeah,
them
we
on
talked
there.
about that last year about that song you had that was
Yeah, well, it's
supposedly
happened.
with
It's
Vinnie
happened.
Vincent, supposedly.
Yeah, it's happened two more times since
Oh
then.
my gosh.
Yeah, and it's like it's like what they can't tell what an AI song is, and why is it end up on our stuff? And I know a lot of other artists that it's happening to too. So
Really?
these people aren't even musicians, or whatever. My cousin came over to my house one day, and he was so happy, he was jumping up and down, showing, man, he wrote this great song. And I go, what do you mean he wrote this great song? I know he sings a bit, but I said, you're not a songwriter. He goes, no, I wrote it with my phone. I go, how do you write a song with your phone? Oh, I just told AI, man. I signed up on this thing and I bought this thing and they sold it to me, and it's my song now. But I just told it what to do and it did everything. Listen to this song, and I'm just sitting there amazed, going like, and so you think you wrote this song? Well, I did write it. It's
No,
like I'm having an argument with
yeah.
something that doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, you
Right.
didn't write shit. This thing wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
You
didn't
just
play
gave it like
anything.
you gave it
You
a
didn't do
sentence or
nothing.
an
I
idea.
said, how
Yeah.
long did it take you to do this? About a half hour. I said, man, it takes me months sometimes to write a song. Because I'm actually doing it. I'm actually playing. I'm actually recording. I'm actually working. I'm thinking of the idea. I'm changing my ideas. What you're doing is just putting a piece of bread in a toaster and it's popping out, and you go, oh wow, tastes pretty good. That's all you're doing. So you're not an artist.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All
this
that
one, it
stuff.
just pisses me off, man.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that for sure, and it's a little crazy with that. There, like you said, there's so many programs out there that can do that, can create that. And what this is all doing, it's
It's gonna
making the
kill music.
IA agent stronger
Yeah, it's
for
gonna,
the companies.
yeah, it's gonna kill music, man. Dude, I give it another 3 years or so, and real music. I mean, it's almost like you're gonna have to have, like, so. For instance, on this CD, if you look at it on the bottom, it says human made. AI, no AI, human made. I'm putting that on everything, and I think every artist should prove that they wrote or did the song themselves, because this is a battle for the soul of music, man. This is going to be a battle. It's either going to be the bots and the AI ruin music, or somehow the original music and original singers, songwriters, musicians that are great actually play their stuff, and people should be able to tell a difference. You should have some kind of watermark that says, this was AI generated, so a person knows, oh, okay, well, that guy's really not legit, or this guy is legit because he played all his stuff, or this band really did create everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
I think that's a great idea to do that. I think more
gotta
people
be,
should
man.
definitely do that. I mean,
Yeah.
they started doing that with some of the photos and videos and stuff online when people post it, but it's getting too crazy with that. They just can't keep up. But a lot of the different services are starting to put even YouTube puts stuff on there. If you created anything artificial in this
Mhm.
video, they ask that you say that during it. You know,
Right.
but it's manual. You have to choose that yourself. But
Right.
I'm still, yeah. I think that's a great idea. What you're
Yeah.
talking about. I think that's
Yeah.
what we really should do.
You got to have some kind of mark that shows, like, that you're a real artist. That just you didn't just pop it in the toaster and it popped out. Yeah, thank you. One of my friends sent me his song a couple of days ago. Who was on Facebook? It's like, I wrote this song. It's going to be released, and me and my cousin, one of my other cousins, we just started cracking up laughing because you could just tell it's all AI generated, the whole thing. But he's
Yeah.
already bragging to everybody that he wrote this song. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Why would a person want to lie about something, to make themself feel better? I don't get it, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we can get into a long, deep conversation about that. People not telling the truth and things they try to do to make themselves, feel like that for sure, for sure. Yeah, definitely. But that's crazy. I know you've experienced a lot of this on, like you said, on Spotify. I can't believe this is starting to show up with other artists now.
I
Yeah.
know.
And the one thing I did want to mention is you're talking about them asking to use your voice and stuff like that. This was kind of the thing that the actors were fighting against a couple years back when they
Right.
had all their talks and they were on strike and everything because they knew this was going to happen to them.
Yeah.
They were going to ask to be used their likeness and this and that, and I'm sure that's included in their fees and their contracts. If they wanted to do that or didn't want to do that.
Right.
And that's definitely something that's going to start happening, I think, in a lot of aspects of thing. But I still feel and I still hope that nothing can replace the live, real music experience.
Yeah.
And that's what people have to kind of understand. There's not a replacement. You don't play this stuff if you're playing it off your laptop when you're not performing.
Exactly.
You
You're
know,
just
if
cheating, man. You know,
yeah,
you're a
yeah,
fake.
yeah. So let's hope that there's still life left in that. What's next for you? What's next steps after this? You got some more stuff coming out, or what's
Yeah.
going
So
on?
right now, I'm in the recording studio right now, going over some stuff. I've been working on this album that's very similar to that song "Running Man." It's like a funk soul rock album, kind of like Lenny Kravitz meets Terrence Trent D'Arby at AC/DC's house, I guess. So it's got some grip, but at the same time, it's kind of funky and soulful. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I I'm playing probably 75% of all the instruments on it. Of course, I'm singing everything, and I've got some great drummers that have played on it. So it's a really cool album, man. I've been working on it. The whole time I've been doing the Babylon A.D stuff. I've been kind of whenever I have time, I slip into my studio and work on this stuff. But so Babylon A.D is kind of like on a little hiatus right now. So I'm gonna have this album out probably by August. That's what I'm shooting for.
Okay, very, very cool. Definitely. Well, we look forward to that. And you folks can check out the track for Running Man. Right now, it's out from Derek Davis streaming. You can also check out the video. We're going to have the link to that posted online in our Hall of Video at talkingaboutrock.com. And for more info, you can go to derekdavismusic.com and check out everything this man is up to. Derek, so good, man, to talk to you, man. Great to have chat with you again, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Maybe we'll get back together when the album comes out.
That sounds like a great plan. Okay, folks, that wraps up this episode. Thank you to my guest today, Derek Davis, and to our folks out there. We hope you're doing your part by keeping the torch alive and supporting live music wherever you are.